Need a car, need it bad, need something better than what you had. Not sure what you wanna, where to go. Well, there's one place that you need to know. SVG is a place for me, where you get superior value guaranteed.
Welcome to another episode of SVG Motors Weekly. Hopefully this week you're going to learn something, you're going to be entertained, and you're going to have lots of fun. So guess what though? If you missed the show, you can go to our YouTube channel, subscribe to SVG Motors Weekly, and you can catch any one of the old shows. So sit back, enjoy the show.
So I just got my credit score back and it's a little bit lower than I thought it would be. What is a credit score anyways? How do people figure out this number?
Okay, listen, don't worry about it. More people than you think are dealing with low credit scores. An estimated 70 million Americans today are battling with a low credit score. And as a matter of fact, almost every one of us at one point or another are gonna fight with credit issues. Here's the great news, you can fix it. But first, let's find out what's driving that credit score down. Number one, if you've got some negative marks on your credit, let's say you've gotten behind on a car payment, house payment, or maybe the IRS is coming after you because of some tax issues, or you've had medical bills. So negative marks on your credit will bring your score down. Secondly, high debt. You may be making your payments on time, but you owe a lot on your credit card. So your balances are high on those things. That will bring your score down. Also, and believe it or not, having no credit hurts your credit score. I know it shouldn't be that way, but that's the truth. No credit hurts your score, so you need to get out there and get some credit. And lastly, it can be a combination of a couple of these things. You may have high debt and also some negative marks on your credit. Here's the great news. We can do something about it, so let's get started on showing you how to repair your credit.
Who makes up that number anyways? Is it a man? Is it a machine? Is it the Wizard of Oz? I don't know.
Okay, so you fill out a credit application, you stick the paperwork out and you hand it back to the guy who's looking at your credit, and he comes back with a credit score. Well, let me tell you something. It's not any individual who's looking at your credit, so don't worry about it, okay? This isn't somebody judging you. The reason your score comes out the way it is, it's being judged by a computer, okay? And it's the computer's best guess at the likelihood of you making your payment. So it's not always right, okay? And it can be fixed. Here's the deal. Improve your credit report and your credit score will go up. It's really that simple. So let's get started on fixing your credit report, because that's not as difficult as you might think.
As a customer, when I came in the lot, I would expect to get greeted in a friendly manner on time and get presented and the salesperson to listen to exactly what I was saying, that, you know, what my transportation needs would be, and then take me out and be very knowledgeable on that particular car and show me exactly, you know, what my options would be, and kind of discuss, you know, that before we really ever get to the finance office. And then once I made a decision, show me all my options finance-wise, and then once I get back there in a timely manner, I know people's experience has been to wait a really long time. Here that doesn't happen. We're in and out, and I would really want that to happen. I've had people as little as 15, 20 minutes walk in and walk out as a customer. That's what I would want. And then know all about my car when I leave, and what my service options were. If I needed to get oil changes or anything like that, who I would call, exactly how I do it. So a service walk. Too many people have ambiguous situations once they purchase a car and they don't really know how to proceed getting service or taking care of after the sale.
So my score's not where I want it to be. Can I fix my score or improve it? How would I go about doing that?
Here's what has to happen to start improving your credit score. You got to get started now, today, ahora, not mañana. You know what that means, don't you? It doesn't mean today. Well, we're going to get started right now. Because you know what's going to end up happening if you don't get started now? That green monster of procrastination is going to bite you right in the behind, and then they're going to tell you, oh, your credit score 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years from now. So we're not going to deal with that. We're going to get started right now. You got one life to live, and let's get this credit situation fixed now. And I'm going to help you do it. So listen.
So if there's something on my credit score that I didn't do, is there a way to dispute it? What are my rights? How do I go about fixing it?
Here's what you got to do. Number one, you got to go out and print your credit report. You got to go find it. So you can go online. There's several internet websites. Google credit reports. How do I look at my credit report? There's several websites out there. Get your credit report, and you should be able to get it at no cost. Okay, now, step one, get your credit report. Step two, you need to analyze your credit report. So here's what you need to do. Print it out, okay? And then set it all out in front of your coffee table right there in the kitchen. Get you a blue highlighter and a pink highlighter. I like to use the blue one for the good stuff, and then the pink one, for the not so good stuff. But sit down. Now, it may be a little intimidating. When you look at it, you're gonna say, oh my goodness, I can't read this. Just take your time. Oftentimes there's instructions on how to read the report, but it's really not that difficult. Just take your time, read through it, okay? Step three, write out a calendar, okay? When your payments are due, how much they're due, exactly what the process is, okay? But also take down all the information you have and who's saying what about you on your credit, okay? Because you're gonna be able to see it. So-and-so says you were behind on the payment. Now here's the best part. Step four, you can dispute these things. The law allows you to dispute these marks on your credit, and it's up to them to prove it. And sometimes it's a little difficult to prove. Do you remember when you were a kid and your mom came up to you and she started blaming you for stealing the cookies out of the cookie jar, and it wasn't even you, it was your brother? It happens. Okay? So you've got to dispute that. And let me tell you something. Put the burden on those credit agencies to defend their position, okay? And it's going to be tough for them to prove it, but you got to be diligent, all right? So, step 5, repeat and rinse. Go back again, go after them and say, hey, listen, you've had 6 weeks ago, I asked you about this, I haven't heard back from you. Continue, write the letters. Send the disputes, okay? Step 6, you need to start to build your credit, okay? Now, some of you out there don't have a lot of credit, or you do and it's negative. Start small. You might go to your bank, okay? You're depositing your paychecks anyway. Deposit your check, even if it's $200, okay? And then ask the bank representative, say, I'd like to take out a credit card against my money that's in this bank account. So you're kind of borrowing against yourself. Believe it or not, you can do that. And you establish yourself more credit. Another way, go to the gas station. You're paying for things anyway with cash. Get a little credit card, apply for your gas station credit card, and start to use this credit card. Even if it's a $70 balance, whatever it is, use it, pay it. Use it, pay it. You're gonna have to be consistent, but you can do it. Fixing your credit is not that difficult. You can do it. It's simple. And another way, there are agencies out there that you can hire to help you do this. It costs money, but sometimes that's the way to go also. You can also stop in at any one of the SVG locations, and any one of the salespeople or the business managers will be more than happy to give you advice and help you read your credit bureau. So, let's get going. Now, there's some more information I want to share with you. Stay tuned.
Folks, welcome back to another exciting episode of SVG Motors Weekly. Today we have the Walk Around Showdown starring Brian Lloyd.
What?
And Brandon Meyer. Starting off here, we have a 2016 Chevy Equinox. Brian, what's one of your favorite things about this? What can you tell me about it?
You know what I love in this? I love the seats. This is where you're at all the time right here. Memory seats, heated seats, lumbar support, leather. Look at that leather right there.
Brandon, does yours have leather?
Oh yeah, come check this out.
Let's check this out.
Mine's got leather, lumbar support, power seats.
You have heated seats,
with
Brandon?
heated seats and air conditioned.
Wow, wow. What else do you have?
I tell you what.
What can you show us?
Also, another thing I love about this, look at this lift gate here. See that? This is power. This goes up. I can push a button to close it. I can adjust the height of it right inside the vehicle.
Ooh, I think he's got you, Brandon.
I don't think so. Check this out.
Uh-oh.
Power. Right here's the button to close it back down. I've also got the adjustment inside too to decide how high it goes.
Well, I'll tell you what, that looks all good and everything, but look at the room back here, man. If you want to haul a TV or something, you're going to be able to fit a big TV in, and those seats fold down forward. I got you on cargo space, 100%.
I don't think so. Check this out. These buttons right here.
Oh, boom.
Look at that. And then if you need even more,
Folks, another reason why we're doing this is if you're on the fence of whether or not you want a big SUV or just a crossover, it shows you what you can do.
Yeah, look, that's all good if you're a lazy person, okay? If you just want to hit buttons and have stuff fall down. My seats are manual, they fold forward manually. But another thing you're going to get with this, 32 miles per gallon. What?
Oh,
Wait, I'm listening.
what can you do with that, Brandon?
you got me there. You got me there.
I can turn this thing on a dime.
Can you tow a boat?
Can I what?
Tow a boat?
Yeah, I can tow a boat.
Brandon?
Hey, he's talking a little like cartoon boat.
Well, I mean,
It's a
can
little
you?
like one person.
Is it
yeah,
hidden?
you can tow a boat. You take this here, it's got two little thumb screws under here. You pop those off, there's a hitch right back there. You can tow whatever you want.
I don't see no hitch on there.
Hey, does anybody have backup cameras on these?
I've got a backup camera on this thing that'll blow your mind. Let me close my lift gate here. Power.
Wow, that's nice. That is real,
Right
real
here,
nice.
the
Look at
backup
this.
camera, and you can see everything behind you. Not going to back into anything with this unless you're not paying attention. So
Plus, it has the backup sensors.
backup
This right here,
sensors.
mine's got the backup camera along with the backup sensors. But check this out. When mine's in reverse, mine's even got a little graph here that shows you where you're heading when you turn your steering wheel.
I've got that. I've already got that. But one thing that I do have in here is I have a manual mode, so I can put it manually shifted if I wanted to. So
I've got that too.
How do you know if somebody's in your blind spot?
well, on mine, I know I have a blind spot indicator that
Wow.
is right there. This thing keeps me lane departure. So if I go left to center on there, it's gonna vibrate and it's gonna tell me that. I went
Folks,
left
that's
to
great
center.
for safety. Brandon, what
Hang
can
on,
you tell
hang
us?
on, hang on. You mean this little thing right here?
Oh, wow.
That lights up whenever there's someone in your
yeah,
blind
that's what
spot?
I was talking about on here and everything.
Also, do your mirrors do this?
No, but they can do this.
If you're over in your driver's seat, how are you gonna close that one?
My passenger will handle that for me. So
Fair enough. I guess you don't drive alone very much.
no, I do not.
But here's the thing. I've got extra storage in mine. Come over here, you hit this button right here, my entire screen lifts up and there's some storage back there.
Well, that's nice.
What do you got?
That's all good. But you know what? I like to see the sun. I like to see the sun coming through right here. Sunroof, baby. Sunroof.
Oh, hi guys. How's it going?
I love it. I love the competition, friendly competition.
You know, I gotta say, the Tahoe is pretty nice, and the Equinox is nice. I think we have two very nice vehicles here. You may have beat me on features, but like I said, price-wise, you can't beat an Equinox.
That's true. How about we just call it a truce?
Sounds good
Get
to
over
me.
with the day.
See, we're very
Alrighty.
friendly out here at SVG Chevy. Folks, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Steve, thank you for the nice, cool sunglasses.
So if there's something on my credit score that I didn't do, is there a way to dispute it? What are my rights? How do I go about fixing it?
All right, you've got your plan of action out there, you've got those pink things marked out, and you're ready to start disputing those negative listings on your credit. Okay, here's how we do it. There's the 10 commandments of disputing your claims. Number 1, you should always indicate whether the dispute listing is being one of two things. You're either challenging that it's not yours or that you're not late. The credit bureaus care nothing about anything else but those two things. Not yours, not late. Those are the two reasons to dispute your credit. Number 2, you should always tell the credit bureau of what your desired outcome is. What do you want them to do about it? Do you want them to completely delete the credit history, or do you just want them to erase that late payment? You got to be clear and tell them exactly what you want them to do. Number 3, thou shalt always provide a reason for thy dispute. You can't just say, look, I'd like you to do this because. You need to give them a reason. You can't just say, please take it off. No, that's not going to work. You need to tell them, look, I got my report and I simply don't understand. I was not late. That's it. You don't understand. I got my credit bureau and I'm disputing this. The reason is I don't understand because it doesn't make sense. Step 4, thou shalt not dispute every single negative listing on your bureau, okay? Because it's going to look obvious. So pick a few separate listings and dispute those. Number 5, thou shalt never sound like an expert. Don't bother quoting something that you read on the internet. Be real, okay? Be a real person, because they're going to think you're some credit agency who's trying to help, and they're not going to want to help you. Be real. Number 6, thou shalt become more insistent with more attempts, okay? So after 90 days, don't keep doing it every couple of weeks. Wait 90 days in between disputes and then go back at it. The second time, be a little more assertive, more aggressive. You know, you might challenge them with seeking legal counsel or whatever, okay? But take it up a notch. Step 7, thou shalt time thy disputes. Don't bother disputing the same listing more often than once every 90 days, 6 months. Kind of went over that. But step 8, thou shalt use inaccuracies and inconsistencies on the report to help justify why it's wrong. The address is wrong. I don't even live there anymore. I never got it. That's part of the problem. Step 9, thou shalt take thy fight to thy creditors who report the negative listing. So let's say it's the department store that says, hey, you're behind on your payment. Take the fight right to them. Call them directly. Hey, listen, you're showing this on the credit history. I need you to take this off. I need your help with this because I was not late. My report shows this. Please give me any report you have that shows why I was late. Take the fight to those individual creditors. And lastly, stay on the ball. 10, you gotta be consistent. Don't give up. Keep writing letters, keep calling, stay at it. And I'm not talking about huge long letters. 1, 2 paragraphs, dispute, send a letter, follow it up every 90 days or so. You will do this, okay? You can do this. So that's how you dispute items on your credit. All right, you can't dispute everything off your credit. You still are gonna have some of those unpaid delinquent accounts. You're gonna have to pay them, okay? They're just not gonna go away, because if you don't, they're gonna come back and haunt you 3, 4, 5, 8, 10 years down the road. So let's face it, we're gonna pay them. Now, before you pay them, let's find out who they are and let's contact them, okay? Sometimes you can negotiate a little lower payoff, and you can also, before you pay them, make sure that you talk to a supervisor and ask them to please delete this off my account if I pay it. Get it in writing. Have them send it to you in writing, and they will do it. You may have to talk to a supervisor, manager, what have you, but they will do it, okay? If you promise to pay it, send a letter, they'll take care of it, okay? So get after it. Pay some of those debts that are on there, the delinquencies, you gotta pay them, and you're gonna get credit for it.
So are there any other factors that affect my credit score? What are they?
Right next to the negative credit listings on your credit bureau is high credit limits. It can sink your score just as much as negative credit or bad credit, so to speak. All right, so I want to talk a little bit about how this works, okay? When your credit limits are high, suppose you have a credit limit of $5,000 on your credit card. And if you owe $5,000, then you're at your limit, okay? Now, this computer system is a little weird, all right? So you gotta be very careful. There are people out there who will tell you, hey, close down all your credit cards. Well, guess what? That can hurt you. Don't do that. Unless you have more than 4 credit cards and they're all zero balances, I don't suggest you close credit cards, okay? So here's what you need to do. You need to get your debt to limit ratio down. So let me explain. I need you to add up all of your limits, okay? So take how much debt you have on that credit card. So let's say you have a $5,000 credit card and you have a $2,500 balance. You're at a 50% ratio, debt to limit ratio. So what you need to do is add up how much you owe on all your credit cards and divide that by your balance that you're allowed to put on those credit cards, and you'll have a debt to limit ratio. And you need to concentrate on lowering that number. And believe it or not, that can skyrocket your score. So get started, pay attention to your limits and your ratios, and your score will get better.
When I go to purchase a vehicle, I want to go to a lot that has a lot to offer in terms of inventory with new and used cars that has been through service. When I get approached by someone, I want them to be knowledgeable on the items that they have in inventory. I want to work with someone who is honest and sincere and is very upfront and transparent. I also want someone that is going to listen to my needs and my wants and is going to follow through with those and is going to be considerate of what I need. They're going to take my budget into consideration, and also the type of vehicle that I need, and is going to put together what is going to work for me and my family. When I go to purchase a car, I want to go to a place that I know I can trust, that is going to have a lot to offer in terms of inventory, where the cars have been through service. I want to be approached by someone who's knowledgeable about the products that they have, that is going to listen to my needs and my wants, is going to put me in something that is going to be good for my budget, that's going to work for me and my family in terms of size and make and model. I also want to have someone that I can trust, that after my purchase I'll be able to follow up with them with any questions that I have about the car or my OnStar, or about any service agreements or anything that I have after the fact. That's how I would want to be treated if I was a customer, and that's how I try to treat everyone that I deal with here at SVG, and I think that's how all of our staff treats everyone that comes through the doors.
Okay, credit cards are a beautiful thing, but guess what? They can be the demons of the world. Okay, so we're going to talk about a step-by-step process of wrangling those credit cards. Well, first let me say this. The ideal situation is for you to have 4, maybe 5 credit cards with 0 balances, but we can't do that all at once. So here's how we get started. Number 1, you can call. Remember I said debt to limit ratios? Number 1, you can call a credit card company and ask for a little bump in your limit, thus lowering your debt to limit ratio. Now careful, that can also lower your score a bit because they're going to take a look at credit. They're going to pull your credit, but that only drops it temporarily. Number 2, pay down any cards that you have that are over the limit. That really looks bad on the credit. So if you're over your limit, close to your limit, get it down. Step 3, start paying cards off one at a time, but don't close them. Step 4, if you can't pay any more completely off, then pay as many of your credit cards below that 50% mark, okay? Get that debt to income ratio down, okay? You can do it. Step 5, if you got the green, look, pay them all off, all right? You're better off having no debt on those things, and your credit score will shoot way up. And lastly, pay all your cards off first. Then start closing your cards down, okay? But you know, here's a good tip. Don't close your oldest card, okay? Because it's on your credit history, and the credit machine, the credit computer, it really likes some of those credit cards that you've had for many, many years. Shows some consistency, all right? So credit cards, great thing, but you gotta manage them. Okay, now we gotta get you in the credit game, because guess what? No credit is bad. Lowers your score and can oftentimes be worse than having bad credit. The banks don't know anything about you. So we got to get you in the credit game. It's not difficult, okay? So here's what you do. Number one, go to the mall. Get you a little store credit card for a little amount. You know, go to the gas station, you know, get you a couple little credit cards, okay? Something to get you in the game. Number two, go to your bank, your credit union, whatever, where you deposit your paychecks. Now, talk to someone there and say, I'd like to start a credit card against the money that's in my account. So it might only be $200, $300, $400, whatever you've got in your account that you can run a credit. Now, it's not sexy, okay? But it's building your credit and you're establishing a relationship with that bank. Number three, another way is to get somebody who does have a lot of credit, a lot of good credit, and have them add you to one of their credit cards. They're not going to give you the card, but it will give you an instant boost in your credit score. Number four, another way is to get a parent, a friend, somebody to co-sign for you. This can shoot your credit score up, but be careful, okay? Because if you don't make your payments, you can really ruin a relationship because what you do hurts their credit also. So be careful with that. And lastly, don't overdo it. Don't run all over town getting credit cards everywhere, okay? Start slow, 3, 4, maybe 5 credit cards, and you'll be well on your way to being someone with credit.
Thank you, Steve. I'm so excited. You know what I'm gonna do right now as soon as I leave? I'm gonna go and look at my credit score. I'm gonna look at my credit report. I'm gonna analyze the crap out of my credit report and send any dispute letters that I need to send to get that off my credit. I'm gonna lower my interest rate. I'm gonna pay my credit cards on time. I'm gonna pay my bills on time. And now I'm gonna save so much money. Now I can finally get a brand new car at a low interest rate. Thanks, Steve. You're the best.
What in the blue blazes is credit inquiry? What does that mean, a credit inquiry? Well, I'll tell you what it means. Every time you fill out a credit application and submit for credit with a car dealership or a home or credit cards or the store credit, they will run a credit inquiry. And if you go to a car dealership, oftentimes they will attempt to get you approval through 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 banks, sometimes several banks, in an attempt to establish a credit for you. Okay, this can hurt your score. Now here's the good news. Several years ago, every time you looked at your credit, it would knock your score down. Today, they bring them, they bunch them together. So as long as say you're applying for a home loan or a car loan, all of those credit pulls that are done within a 2-week period of time count as one bureau pull, okay? So, you know, you're okay doing that. It's a lot better than what it used to be. But at the end of the day, keep in mind, every time you fill out a credit application, it knocks your score down a little bit, okay? So if you're tempted to go out and get more credit, wait a little bit before you go and do it again. Well, that wraps up another episode of SVG Motors Weekly. Just want to say thanks from the entire team at SVG Motors, and if you like what you saw in the episode, you can see more at SVG Motors YouTube channel. Subscribe to the channel and see a bunch of cool stuff. Also at Facebook, you can like us there and get more content there. So, see you next week right here, SVG Motors Weekly.